is called safety. Now, what I want to ask you guys is, if you have got your electrical safety regulations with you, it's very important to know that in the safety regulations, regulation 100 to regulation 106, they mention a lot about safety. Now, in that regulations, it states that you must make sure that you are going to work safe. The employer must take all practical steps to ensure that you got the knowledge to work there. They must make sure that you got the right gear to work there. And nothing can go harmly wrong with you. And if not, you must be supervised if you're not competent yet. Now, I believe everybody in this session is not competent yet. In other words, you will work under supervision, not necessarily directly supervision, but under some form of supervision. Excuse me. Now, the start of the safety one, you can get a shock. You must always prepare yourself not to get a shock. And we in the electrical industry love to wear PPE. I will always have gloves in my car or my van when I was on the tools, safety shoes, high-vis vest, and safety glasses, maybe a helmet if I had to wear it. And it all depends what sites I used to go to. I must probably have to wear a special overall. And especially in certain environments, it must be the acid one, which can absorb acid without going to your body, etc., etc. But it all depends from environment to environment, place to place where you're going to work. Now, let's say I'm Superman. I'm standing there with my yellow outfit and I'm touching the machine. It's okay. Nothing can go wrong. But as soon as there is a fault, metal parts can become live. The current can flow through my hand, through my body, down to the ground, back to the switch or transformer or to the point of supply. That is what we try to prevent, because anything greater than 30 milliamps can be harmful for your heart, and it can do something sad to your heart. Now, if you go to your AS NZS 3002.6.1, under the notes, we use 10 to 30 milliamp RCDs to prevent something to happen. And the answer I'm after is in note number 2. And in note number 2 says a 30 milliamp are designed to operate before fibrillation of the heart can occur. So that is critical. In the exam, they can ask you, what happens after 30 milliamps with your heart? A, nothing. B, bouncing up and down. Or C, fibrillation. Now, fibrillation is basically bouncing, but it's vibrating and it's not in sync. And because it's not in sync, your heart needs to be stopped and start again. And I believe that is not fun, especially when they stop your heart and they have to start your heart again. So, kids at primary schools or when you are sick, you are now using a 10 milliamp RCD, especially with little kiddies in primary schools, etc. They use 10 milliamps because their hearts can stop, obviously fibrillate, but that can also become in a situation where the child cannot breathe. The muscles will contract together and the child cannot breathe. So that is two critical, knowledgeable, medical type of questions they can pop into your exam. But it is available. It's an AS NZS 3000 2.6.1. All about the fibrillation. Please look under the word note 2 and note 3. Excuse me. Any current up to, let's say, 29, or let's say anything up to 30 milliamps. If there's a current more than 15 milliamps flowing through an RCD, you will feel it. You will get shocked for a short period of time. If you go up to 10 milliamps, a little bit of a stress, there's something in the water. Anything up to 50 milliamps, well, you'll feel it and your body will start rattling, because 50 milliamps is all about the duration, how long it causes. Now, I want to just put this to yours. If I give you 30 milliamps, and 30 milliamps is here where my mouse is circling, and you go up, 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 and there where it kiss across. If you go across up to there, it's 300 milliseconds. Anything within zone 2, no harmful effects. In zone 3, which is this up to the green part, let's call it up to C1, you will feel it, but you could go in fibrillation. You might not yet, but as it gets more, you will go into fibrillation. And gentlemen and ladies, when the shock is in the C curve zone, that is when it can be fatal. So again, that is an average throughout maybe 1,000 people which got shocked. All people is not the same. My body resistance is way more than yours. So that means I can handle 300 milliamps, where you guys might have a lower body resistance. You might only be able to handle 15 milliamps. It's not a proud of, hey, I can handle more current than yours. Don't get shocked. Stay away from that bloody current so you will not feel this current. So all I want to come down to, anything 30 milliamps or greater can cause fibrillation. Less than that, okay. Anything 10 milliamps or greater for kiddies can cause the heart to fibrillate and struggle to breathe. Is that okay to everyone? It sounds like it. Sounds like you guys are okay with that. Cool.
If you're working on a circuit and like a house and they don't have RCD protection and you forget to turn like a circuit off and you touch the cable and get a shock, how many milliamps is that roughly?
Oh, it's very hard to say, because it might be that you're sitting on a timber and your bum is sweaty and it's a high resistance, or you're standing with your safety shoes on a concrete floor. That will make a big difference. So I would say it will be maybe up to maybe 30, 40 milliamps, I would say, if I have to guess. If you got such bad shock and you faint, then I would say that was a hell of a shock. But guys, I haven't heard this yet, but I want to ask you this question, and I'm going to ask the question later. According to standard 4836, AS NZS 4836, regardless if you got shocked, you must go and see a medical person. Now, that's what Maria said. What is your company rules? Anyone, tell me, what does your company rule says if you get shocked? What must you do?
You have to fill out an incident report.
Is it the only thing you need to do?
That's the only thing they've said so far. Probably some other people.
Okay. Anyone working for a line company or any other company? Who's got a company where it says you must go to for an ICG test or what? An ECG test to check your heart?
My company does.
Very good. Very good. Now, the company I used to work for before I came to Skills, called MIT, they said, regardless, doesn't matter who, you go for a check to see if your heart's okay. So, guys, what I would like to say, in the 4836, it says you should go and see a medical practitioner. In other words, go for the checkup. And I think majority of the companies will say that, because you might feel okay now, but in a half an hour's time, you might become sweaty. You might struggle to breathe. You might be short of breath. You might feel dizzy. And that means your heart is not what it used to be. So I would like to say to you guys, the answer what your boss will say to you. Do what your company say. My company say, go to the hospital or go to a medical A&E, check your heart, and you're finished. So I just say that because in 4836, it states, and I quote, not word for word, you should go and see a medical person. Now, I think the word should will be determined by the company, if it shall, should, or might. I leave it there. Even the Health and Safety Act mentioned a few times that it's best practice to go and see someone to see how your heart is. Cool. Now the second part, to carry on with protection. I know when we spoke about RCDs and Iceland transformers. This is not about an Iceland transformer. This is just a story about if you are protected, that's great. If there's any hazard, you must identify the hazard, report the hazard to your supervisor, and prevent anybody to come in contact with that hazard. It goes further. I'm Peter Pan. Peter Pan is touching the white phase and the blue phase. Line 1, 2, and 3, while standing on a wooden floor. Will the electrician get a shock? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Look, the current goes through what? Can you
Yeah.
all see regardless? It goes through the heart. Yes, you're going to get a shock. It's not necessarily that the person will die, but unfortunately, you will get a shock. Well
It'll be
done.
a recent shock.
Yes, always get your heart rate checked after that shock. Well done. So, guys, there we are. The question exam is they apparently give you little pictures like that, and they ask you, will the man get shocked or will the lady get shocked? But look at the trap. They say to you very nicely here, look, I'm standing on a wooden floor. Doesn't matter. It goes from hand to hand. Right. Look at the second one. This is also Peter Pan standing here. He's touching the neutral and neutral. The switch is on. The current flows through the phase, through the load, through the neutral, but not through the gap which is broken, but through his body. Will he get a shock?
Yes.
Absolutely. So that is a tricky question they ask you in the exam. Now, if I had rubber gloves in both sides, I would not get shocked. But as soon as you got nothing bare hands, you're going to get a shock. All right, look at this one. Anybody tell me, will that guy get a shock?
No.
No.
The answer is no, because the switch is open. Can you see the circuit is switched off? No current, no shock. Well done. Try this one. An electrician is touching phase and earth while standing on a concrete floor. Will the electrician get a shock? You're touching phase and earth.
Yes.
Right, the current goes through his hands and to earth. Remember, concrete floor. It goes all the way through. The answer is yes. Now, the duration of the shock, the severity of the shock, will all determine the problem it creates on the heart. Because your heart sits here in the middle of your chest. Because if they do CPR with you, they're not going to press you here on your left-hand side chest. They press you here in the middle of your chest. So your heart sits there. So regardless what you do, current is going to go through it. Because that's where all the blood is and all the moisture and all that lovely things. Now look at this one. An electrician is touching the phase and earth while he's standing on a wooden floor. Will he get a shock? The current goes through his hands.
Yes.
Right. If you look at that one, it goes to the ground because it's concrete. Because it's wooden, it only goes through the hands. Now, guys, be very careful. In the exam, they ask a question like, electrician is touching the bus bars with gloves on, but the gloves has got cracks in it. Uh-oh, you're going to get a shock. Right, try this one. You just arrived on a site to do an inspection. While you are there, an electrician receives electrical shock and his heart stops. What must you do first? A, start artificial breathing. Guys, do you want to support your computers or mute it? B, start CPR.
B.
C, wait for some co-worker to arrive before you start CPR. Or D, get help first
B.
or ask for someone.
B.
Get into some CPR.
Start CPR.
B.
Right, guys,
Immediately.
look, what's the answer?
D.
D. D.
You must get help first. How long can you do CPR before you're going to be tired?
3 minutes.
Right, guys, I'm going to ask you, when you're going to do your CPR course, when that puppy or dummy is lying there on the floor, go and do CPR on it for 3 minutes. I tell you, after 1 minute, you're going to be tired as. After 2 minutes, your hands is going to be lame. I tried it. And guys, I tried it. After a minute, I actually said to myself, you know what? I
He
don't
can
think
do it.
that person won't survive because I'm going to give up. So what you do, obviously there's a big sequence in this. The question might ask, what is the first thing you do? And they got different answers. Originally, the correct answer is switch off the power, ask for help, then clear everything, then shake your guy's head. Are you breathing? ABC, CPR. But very important, read the 4 questions answers. If they do not say switch off power, then you start off by get help first. That is ultra important. And that question is over and over asked in your exams. I hope that helped you guys.
Yeah.
Right. A trainee is left on a site to do work. He accidentally cut through the wrong conductor and get a light shock. Oops. What does a trainee need to do? A. Call skills and ask skills what to do. Calls his supervisor and ask what to do.
D.
Carry out working by noted in an incident book, or go and see a medical person. Pauline, what will you do? Go.
Go and see a medical person.
Is it B?
D. Yes, D. You will go see a medical person. That is the answer I want you guys to tick in your exams. So you go see your supervisor, yes, but your supervisor will say, come with me, we're going to go to the medical place. But the most correct one here is at the end, you must go to a medical person. You can't just tell your boss and he will fill in the book for you. Okay with that one?
Yes.
I know it's a tricky one, but always remember, fill in the book as well while you drive, maybe, to the doctor. And please not try not to drive. Right. In our electrical safety regs is regulation number 106. You'll see in the regulation 106, it states something interesting. When you're going to work, you must put notices out to warn people not to switch stuff on. We'd call that tags, etc. But regulation number 106.2 states very nicely, if working on an installation or works, and that fitting has got a locking facility, you must use that locking facility. I'll tell you this, every circuit breaker has got a locking facility. Have a look. You must use a special little gadget, or you can put a little wire through. Now you guys will say to me, no, I'll just switch it off. I'll do the job. I'll come back and I'll switch it on and nobody will do it.
Bit of electrical tape.
I beg your pardon?
Just a bit of electrical tape.
Okay, we'll talk about the tape as well. So guys, a couple of things. You must secure it so that there's no risk for someone to restore it. And it says there, if there's a risk of unattended connection to or restore the power supply, you must prevent that. Now, I'm going to tell you the story where around about 1986, 87, one of my friends, he was a very, very, very good golf player. He went to the first floor and he put on he switched off the breaker. It's a 3-phase breaker. And he put an insulation tape over it with a danger tag. And he closed the door. He went downstairs and he replaced a 3-phase socket outlet. Just the same PDL round ones. While he was doing it, poof! The circuit went live. He got a hell of a belt and he lost 2 fingers. The investigation, what happened was as follows.
Yes.
Now we looked at the top floor and we saw the camera. The camera showed him walking down the steps. As he walked out, the danger tag dropped out and the light on the floor. What happened? He stuck the insulation tape over a circuit breaker which had some dust on it. Somebody walked past and maybe could have been something he was working on, saw the power was dead. He opened the switchboard, he saw there was a breaker dead, and he switched it on. Now, at the end of the inquest or the the case, my friend was guilty because he did not secured the danger tag, so it prevents to fall off. So guys, all I want to warn you guys in here, you must use the locking facility so there's no risk of someone to restore that. In other words, you can lock it, you can switch it off, disconnect the wire, I don't care. All I want to share is what regulation 106 is in the regs. And if you go to regulation 107, it states if you do not comply to regulation 106.2, you can get up to a $50,000 fine. So between you and me, I will come and lock out and tag out every work for you do. Pay me $100. Except the guys out of Auckland, you have to pay for the air flights as well. So guys, as serious as lock out, tag out properly to prevent it to come loose and to prevent someone to switch it on, please. Right. Which of the following 2 cards is a danger card?
A.
Red or yellow, or A or B?
A.
Well done. Right, guys. In this case, I explained it to you that a danger tag is a lockout tag. Here on the left-hand side, the red one is a tag which prevents someone to switch something on while you're working on it. So a danger tag is red. It prevents someone to switch it on. Anyone cannot switch it on. Only you or your supervisor, when you're not available, is allowed to do all the procedures and put that off or take it off and switch it on again. Now, the other tag is called the out of service tag, which is the yellow and black one. If you're working on a circuit, and this is just an example, let's say you do a heated towel rail, and the heated towel rail is faulty, you take it off, and you cannot isolate it properly by close the system, you will go to the switchboard, you'll switch the breaker off, and you can put an out of service tag there. The out of service tag just means to the public, do not use that. Anyone can come back, check the out of service tag, replace it with a danger tag, and carry on to do the work. I haven't gave you the full answer yet because there's something I want to discuss in between the 2 checks. So an out of service tag can be replaced by anyone, but a danger tag, the red one, can only be taken off by you. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Which tag
Yes.
will you put on if you know you're not going to come back? Red or yellow?
Yellow.
Yellow, the out of service tag. Out of service tag means
Oh, so
when
good.
Peter Pan did the job, you can't finish, you put an out of service tag, Superman will come back and Superman will replace. Please take note. Now, here comes a very, very important question. What is the first test you need to do when you have changed an out of service tag to a danger card? So you took the out of service tag out and you put a danger card on. You took the yellow one off, you put a red one in. A, ensure that the danger card is secure in place. B, to ensure your name is on the danger card. C, test for voltage. Or D, proof test proof.
D.
A.
D.
Guys, before you replace that card, or once you replace that, the critical one from the lot. You must prove, test, prove if that circuit is dead. Because you do not know the guy before you actually put the out of service tag on the wrong circuit. Yes, you're going to screw it nicely in place. Yes, you're going to put your name on. Yes, you're going to see if there's voltage, but you have to prove, test, prove the load where you're going to work. Very important. Right, let's explain proof, test, prove. The two proofs from a known source is to ensure your meter is working. So you go to a known source, you prove your meter is working. You know your meter is working. You're happy with that. Then you go to the physical place where you're going to work and you test and you say, look, 0 volts. That tells you that is dead. Then you go back to the bottom one and you prove it again to ensure that your meter did give you the correct reading. So to recap, the two proofs represent the operation of the voltmeter before and after the test. The test is to ensure that the circuit is isolated. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Especially when there's some immigrants in the class, proof, check meter or known source. Go and check if the circuit is dead and go back to see if your meter was working properly. Always remember the two proofs, very, 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 very important. Guess what? I bet you in this room, there's not many of you guys who does that proof test proof. There will be a couple, but I know a lot of you guys will take your meter out of your bag, check, yep, 0 volts, switch off, boom, done, finished. Other people will go and check, yeah, meter's working, switch off 0 volts and start working. So all I want to share is, if you guys doing work and there's something wrong and something happened tragically, it will be investigated and they will see if you've done your proper training. All I want to share is be careful, guys. Any questions up to there? Sounds great. I think you guys are on top of the world.